Story time. Yes, another story. I have hundreds of them with 7 years. So I'm going to go back actually quite a few years. And this is kind of when he first had his first affair. It's someone with a similar name. So I'm still going to call her probably Rose, just because I go by Rose. She goes by something similar, but I'm not going to use her name, or I'm going to change it of some sort. So this other Rose, which can be very confusing, right? It was very confusing for his friends at work too, because apparently she was also visiting him at lunch on the days that I wasn't able to visit him at lunch. Yes, we were living together. Yes, we'd been what I thought was a committed relationship for at least 3 years. Okay. And so she really got aggressive, right? And she didn't want to end it. And I was just like, take him. And she's like, no, I don't want him that way. I said, well, then you need to leave me alone, right? She's mailing me at work. She's sending letters trying to get me fired from my boss. Yeah, it got that bad, right? So she's now texting and calling and sending me nasty messages, and I'm irritated. The good or bad thing is this other Rose was calling from a company phone. Yes. Now, I'm not going to mention the business because they are a nonprofit here locally, primarily working in the agriculture area. That's enough information, right? So, and she's kind of a whoop-de-doo. Not high up, but high enough, okay? She actually works there with her sister, who's a receptionist as well. We won't go there. So she's meeting him on the days that I'm not there, or meeting him after work. And so she's now getting aggressive with me. I'm like, you can just go, take her. Like, I don't want her. I don't want you if you're with somebody else. Like, that's not the deal I signed up for. I want a committed man. Like, if you're not loyal, you're not compassionate, you're not respectful of my wishes, get out, right? Anyways, I don't know what happened. He says he broke it off with her. Apparently, I don't know for sure if that's really what happened. Somehow I ended up with flat tires at work. Yes. Yeah, that's how bad it got. So she actually wanted to meet me at his job. And I'm just like, there's nothing I have to say. She's like, well, I don't have a boyfriend. I know. You're a side piece. I know that. Right? And you're going crazy on me because you want to be me. Right? So I eventually had to get a restraining order against her. Well, the first thing I did, yes, there's ways of dealing with things in the most polite way that are legal. Instead of popping tires and calling her boss, since she was calling and texting me as well as this narcissist, which I thought was my boyfriend at the time, I could email her work and demand a cease and desist. Leave me the F alone, right? So I did. Very, very fulfilling. Because I know her boss and HR, when they got that letter saying, here's the messages that she's sending me from your company phone, and I will sue you. And I will file a restraining order against you and her and anyone else that continues to bother me from one of your phones. Right? Quick. Yeah, there are ways to deal with this. So the day that she got the restraining order, or got finalized and for her to be served, that night, which at the time I didn't have cameras on the front of all of my front of the house, so I didn't have cameras at the time in the front of my house. I do now. Yeah, I sure wish I did that night, let me tell you. My car gets covered in chocolate. Yes, chocolate syrup. They didn't egg me. That Rose put chocolate all over, chocolate syrup, like literally chocolate, Nestle Quick syrup. You know, the kind that gets hard when you put on ice cream. Yeah, all over my car. And this is January. I lived in California, so it doesn't get too cold. It's still in the 40s and 30s, and, at night on my car. So I wake up in the morning and there's syrup. And I think he knew because as a narcissist, he actually cleaned it. Because I was not in a good mental state at that point. Because one, I got her served. Two, I had to, email her at work. So I know she told him a few things, right? Because I know she was just as pissed off as I was at that point. And I have a funny feeling he knew because he hand washed my car, right? He said, oh no, it wasn't. Baloney. You were in a relationship. She even knew about me and wanted to live with you and go. Like, I don't need this. You're the one that broke up with her, which I shouldn't, at this point in time, it should have been a red flag. I'm like, I told him to get out. Like, no, we're not going to cheat. He promised he would never do it again. And, that whole love bombing stuff really sucks you in. And I was mad. And so then something happened to my car. I think it was my wiper still had chocolate or something on it, right? So he worked at a auto place locally. I'm not going to use their name because he's still there, or he's not there anymore, but he's still friends with a lot of them there. And I call, because he was working there at the time, hey, and they ask me my name, the guy that answers the phone. Hey, who is this? And I'm like, oh, this is Rose. I just need to talk to him really quick. He goes, hey, I missed you when you came in earlier. I'm so glad you called. How are things going? Came in earlier? Yeah. He goes, I heard you came and had lunch with him. Wrong Rose. And that's what I told him. Wrong one. This is the one he lives with, not the side piece. And he hung up the phone. I was pissed. And then, my narcissist calls me back and says, oh, he's just going crazy. He thought that's who it was. When deep down inside, I knew. He's like, you shouldn't put him on the spot like that. He's dumb and, he's not very smart and this and that. So he kind of made me feel like maybe I'd imagine it. Maybe it wasn't real, right? Kind of made me really question, his coworkers, right? Because they're working a retail job. Turns out to find out she was still seeing him even after the restraining order. And I guess I was dumb enough not to see it. I see it now. Yeah, all these years later, kind of late. But you know what? I guess I learned from my mistakes. It might have taken me a little bit of time, but I just wanted to share that, it does take some time. And just be careful. And they're very sneaky. And they will learn how to be sneaky. And I will share with you more of his sneaky tips. But be safe. Remember, work on yourself, heal yourself. It's all about you.